So what I wanted to do was talk through the development of this stitch pattern right here, which I have titled Chaotic Evil. There's a couple design channels, and I had originally thought I was going to put Tori into both the design channels. And for various reasons, I decided I didn't like that solution. So I thought I'm going to come up with a different one that will coordinate with Tori and look good with Tori. On the piece, I've already laid in some stem stitch channels. So I was trying to be mindful of the fact that those already exist. I knew the kind of stitch I wanted. This stitch pattern incorporates GIMP. If you know anything about GIMP, you know that it has little tiny kind of loopy holes right along here. And I thought, okay, well, if I lay the GIMP down the middle of the design channel, and then I can use those little loopy holes to thread embroidery floss through, and that'd be pretty cool. And so I needed to have a stitch that would have kind of a pointy end, a long end, that would go into that little loopy bit, and then do something interesting between the loop and the stem stitch, which already existed. I wanted it to be also loose enough and kind of light enough so that you could see some of the black behind. So it was kind of more of a lacy effect. So I settled on the Snail Trail stitch, which I really liked. The other reason I chose the Snail Trail stitch is not only because it has this little leg here that goes into the GIMP, but it has this cute little loop. It makes a nice little, it's kind of like loop-de-loop, loop-de-loop, loop-de-loop. And I thought, well, if this stitch pattern is named Chaotic Evil, what goes better with Chaotic Evil than a series of 666s? 666, 666. The little loop, each of these makes a little 6. And when you do the stitch correctly, it does that, and it looks cool, and you get your little 666s, and it looks amazing, and I love it. So here's how I do a snail trail stitch, which I don't think it's that common a stitch. Maybe it is. It wasn't one that was like in my repertoire. So your first little loopy is right here. And I'm going to kind of come up kind of behind the stem stitch, which is already in place. All right, so you've gone through your first little loopy of the GIMP. You are going to come up right underneath the next loopy over, okay? You're going to pull up. Where I messed up the first time, as this is a twisted stitch, I twisted it this way. No, wait, I twisted it well, I twisted it the wrong way. Let's put it that way. I twisted it with the thread that was coming out of the GIMP going over. That's not right. It doesn't work right that way. So what you're going to do, and this is easier when you still have the needle in, I don't know why I took it out, is you're going to do it so that the thread that comes out of the GIMP is under and the other thread is over. And then you're going to go through it. So there's a better way to do this. Then you're going to be very careful in tightening it because you want to keep that little, we're trying to get the 666. So what I usually do is put my needle right here as I'm tightening and try to hold that little loop while you tighten it. And it's just really to get that form the way you want it. Best you can. I can't really even see because I'm too far away, but all right. And then we're going to go to the next little loopy. We're going to go right down through it. And we're going to come up under the third loopy of the GIMP. Okay. So here's the better way to do it. So once you've got your needle in there and you've got your two threads there, take the back one, put it over like that and leave that will ensure that you have the proper arrangement. Then you pull it smoothly and carefully. You use your needle to try to make sure you keep that loop loopy because you want this to be a 666. At least I do. You probably don't. You're probably not a weird satanic numbers junkie like me. That's okay. And then for this last third one, you just do exactly the same thing. You come up there, you pull your thread down straight like that. You make sure that one's there. There you go. Okay, so there's our third 6. So now we have 666 in a vibrant purple. Now, what I'm doing that's slightly different for the purposes of this design is then I'm going to skip a loop. So here's the loop that I'm skipping. I'm going to come up in this loop, but before I do that, I'm going to basically give me a tiny little tack stitch here at the end of my 666 because what I want is I want it to be 3 6s. I want it to be 6 6 6, and I want all those loops to be loopy. And then you just come up right next to it, right next to that little tack stitch you did. Come up. You're going to come and then it's just rinse and repeat. It's a pattern of 3, then a space, then 3, then a space. So we're going to come right up here in the same, I think maybe doing the stem stitch does make it easier because you got a nice little hole there. And then you're going to bring your thread down straight. So you've got your 2 things there. Bring that baby over. You're going to pull out any untoward junk that's trying to come up through your needle hole. And then again, if you need to preserve that shape, put your needle right in there. Don't over tighten, and you've got your little 6, or a reasonable facsimile thereof. And then we're going to do this, and we're going to come up under the next one, best we can, behind the stem stitch that already exists. This one is not as easy. That's okay. And then we just do our little loopy thing. Boom. Pull it out, give it a nice smooth tug. Hold on to that loop so that you get your nice smooth 6 6 6s. That's 1 2. We need to do one more. So we have our third 6. And then again, just get those. Oh wait, I didn't have it all the way. There we go. Get those threads parallel to each other. Get the underneath one over. Come and pull. There you go. And then you just take a little time to make sure all your loops are the way you want them. You bury a little tacking stitch right there, and you've got your 3 6s. Now we're going to do one more because 6 6 6 6 6 6 6 6 6 times 3 is probably a good lucky, some kind of mathematical luckiness. Okay, we'll do one more series, and then I'll stop. Okay, there we go. Got that. We're going to come right up under here, right there, I would say. And do your little twisty loopy ovary thing. Come through here, give it a nice, make sure you got a nice loop. And once you get going with this, it's going to be pretty fast. And the nice thing about this, again, is it tacks down the edges of this gimp, keeps your gimp under control, keeps it solidly retained in the way a gimp should be. There we go. There we go, got that one. Put your needle there if you want to make sure that your loop is going to be properly formed. You want to keep them a little loose, a little plush. You want your 6 6 6s to be plush. All right, let me do that one. Get our thread aligned correctly the way we want it to be. That's correct. And then we pull up. Make sure that loop is the way we want it. And then we give it a little tacking stitch. All right. So basically it's 3 and then skip 1. See, 3 gimp loops. 3, skip, 3, skip, 3, skip, 1. 3, skip 1, 3, skip 1. You're going to do that all the way down here. I'm going to do that all the way down here. You can do whatever you want. That's it. Thanks for joining me on this tutorial. Thank you and good night. Wait, I can turn it off with the camera or with the phone, can't I? Oh, well, no, I can't because it's disconnected. Bye.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.